What is going on, guys? This is the PokiChloe Time podcast where we serve you up a cup of the hottest takes on what's going on in the Pokemon community. We got our special guest tonight. She's been crushing it. She is blowing up on social media, about to hit 20K on Instagram. She just hit 12K just very recently on YouTube as far as subscribers go. We got PokiChloe from over the pond in the UK tonight. And we got this guy, Yizzy Pokemon.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, guys. I am honored to be asked to be appearing today.
No, we're honored. We're honored. I think you're the first person that we've interviewed from on the podcast from the UK, so that's pretty cool.
First time, yeah, wicked.
Yeah. So we were just talking, and Yizzy's always badgering me about not talking to our guests because like we always get a lot of really good material before the podcast actually starts because we always have our guests come on about 15 minutes beforehand. And Yizzy, why do you got to be on my case, man?
I don't know, man. It's just something about you, dude. Something about you just easy to, And maybe it's all the assault and verbal assault I get from the daily basis and the calls I get from you, I just gotta get back,
That's true. I know, Chloe, we have a little bit of banter going on the podcast. I'm sure you've seen it where me and Yizzy, we have this back and forth. What are your thoughts on the banter alone?
I think it needs it. I think, it's funny and it keeps it going. I think it's a good way to start as long as you don't, go too hard on each other.
I think Yizzy goes too hard sometimes.
No, like I was kind of embarrassed because I didn't know when you jumped in our live, but me and Shiv like just hardcore roasting each other for like a good 5 minutes. And then I saw Shiv smirk and he's like, "Hey, Chloe." I'm like, "Oh." I was like, "Stop." Nobody needs to see our personal conversation because we just go at each other.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad for those guys who don't know. For those guys who are just coming in the chat, we thank you guys so much. And we appreciate it if you guys like, comment, and share this to your grandma, your dog, I don't know, whoever watches this. Yeah. I mean, someone that you're simping over. Just stuff like that. But let's get right into it. Chloe, we thank you again for being on the podcast. Again, you've been crushing it. Seriously. You've been crushing it. So my question to you to kick things off, what's it like for you to be able to grow this fast? Are you like are you able to keep up with this level of growth, or do you feel like you're running and you're going through like things 1,000 miles per hour?
Yeah, so I mean, when I started like the Instagram, like it was just my hobby and it was just like, right, I'm going to start the Instagram, like there is a community for it, let me, get involved. Then I decided to branch out, start the YouTube, etc. And then it kind of was earlier this year, it all started to grow a lot more quicker than last year when I was doing it. It was kind of, I didn't have as much time to put into it. This year I was like, let's go a bit more full steam ahead. Then when it all started taking off, I was a bit like, I didn't expect it because it was never the plan to like, try and get to this many subs or this many subscribers or, followers, whatever. And then like I just told you before we started, I recently just quit my job. I posted a video yesterday about it because it's now my business and it's now taking a whole like left turn when like I just didn't see it coming. And now that I've quit my job and I'm not going to be working Monday to Friday 9 to 5 and doing this all in my spare time, I feel like I should have more time to breathe a bit more and not be like you say, trying to like chase my tail and keep up with it, because at the moment it has literally been work, like all I do is sleep in between working like 20 hours a day. So it's been pretty crazy to try and stay on top of it, but I feel like now I'll be able to get in a routine and a bit of a better rhythm with it all.
Right. Let's talk about that a little bit. So you just like as of yesterday, you put up a video saying you quit. You went full-time Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
So myself and Yizzy, us being content creators, we kind of have this. We kind of understand this whole dichotomy and being able to keep up, a work life and then being able to have that content creator life. So like, what was that final decision? Like, what was that straw that broke the camel's back? I know that's like a negative thing, but like, what was it that finally made you say that, hey, I want to go full-time Pokemon?
It got to the point where I just literally felt like I couldn't keep up with it. And because, I just made the online TCG store and then I was doing all my live streams, I was like, if I want to do this and do it well and do it properly, like I need the time. I don't want to do it and feel like I'm putting in 50% because then I think it comes across when you're not able to give to something 100%. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I've literally put all my manpower, everything I physically had into it, and I'm hoping that's shown with, like the channel growing. But I just felt like I physically I can't keep up with it. Like I will burn out and like disintegrate. There's no way I can keep at the speed that I'm going. So I was like, do you know what? If I'm gonna do it, I've got to make the decision. Either I keep it as my hobby and, I don't do all these live streams all the time. I don't put out as much content, or I go for it. I create my store. I do all my streams, and I just, you just have to you just have to make the decision. There's no like right time to do it, and it's scary because obviously you're quitting your like stable job that you've got to go into something that you're running yourself. So it was just like, yeah, I think I'm lucky because I have a real like good support system around me. So like my husband's really supportive. Like he helps me with a lot anyway because it's so much for me to do. Luckily he's into Pokemon because I'm sure he would have divorced me by now, like with this room and everything going on. Like but he's really good. My family have been supportive. So I think that helped. Whereas I think if everyone was a bit like, what the hell are you doing? I might have been like, oh, do I make the decision or do I not?
Oh, absolutely.
That's actually pretty funny because like when Shiv and I like before we had you on, I know we planned it like maybe a month ahead, and when that video came out the day before a podcast, Shiv was like, "Well, heck, dude, she's quitting." I'm like, "Dude, it's clickbait. Go watch it. Let's go watch it."
Yeah, I'm not going to agree to do the podcast and then be like, oh, by the way, I'm quitting the hobby.
Yeah. So we were like,
Bad timing.
Yeah, I was like, man, we should have got her earlier before she quit.
Yeah, no, I
no.
totally can relate because that's actually a goal of mine. I'm actually in the process of getting like the license and distribution in terms of that because I buy so much product when it comes to like from online distributors. Like I just spend so much, and it's like me and my buddy we're going in, Rob, if he's not in the chat, getting our license. We just got our LLC set up, so that's pretty good to hear. Your side and getting all that set up too.
Yeah, it just got to the point where it got so much, and then I got accepted for the distribution, and I think that was another really big point of it for me. It was like, do you know what? Now I'm going to be able to run the store properly and have, like I said, the variation, not just Pokemon. And I was like, this is where I need to just make the decision. I either do it all in or I don't. And yeah, I made the decision basically.
That's perfect too, because today's your first day, right? As an
I'm
official,
literally the first day. This is like perfect timing.
Yeah, on the Poke Tea Time podcast.
You guys have the exclusive, literally.
Yeah, let's go.
Congrats,
Let's
congratulations.
go. Yeah, congrats. Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that we got the exclusive, confirmation that today is PokiChloe's first day as an official like as a like you having a Pokemon career. Like that's official. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That is the dream. Like you're living the dream. Like for me, that's the dream. Being able to go full-time Pokemon. That is the dream. So like when you made that video yesterday, were you nervous? Like did you think that you were going to were you nervous about like a different kind of reaction that you were going to get? Like do you think that you had that community support there that was there saying like, hey, it's okay, you can do what you need to do, and then we're gonna like your community was gonna fully support you in your endeavors in your endeavors?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really lucky. The community I've got on my channel, they are great. They're another reason why I feel like supported in being able to do it. But I was obviously nervous about, you always get those comments and you always get those people who be like, what the hell are you doing? You're making the biggest mistake of it. Just those people who maybe don't understand it. And obviously I did the title, I quit, to like be dramatic and like draw people in, and everyone was like, oh no, she's quitting YouTube. And I was like, no, watch the video. But I'm lucky that I can see a lot of them in the chat now. They're the guys who are like my members, my subs, who have been around since the beginning. So I think they have also seen my journey as such, if you want to call it that. And I think a few of them were like hinting every now and then. They were like, when are you going to do this full time? When are you gonna? So I think a few of them knew it was coming. So like those guys have been really great. And I mean, the overall reaction was really good, and I was really happy with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, like I know that I know that's such a big move, and the fact that you have established that level of community support behind you, that's such an amazing thing to see. So that's very awesome to see, because like when I see most women who are fairly large in size as content creators, they might have that huge community support, but often at times it can be kind of there's that other side where it's negative and it's slightly toxic, and so that can sometimes push some women's decisions to move further ahead, and it can be kind of tough and stressful. So like how are you able to manage that level of stress that comes with it? Like with tremendous amount of success, there's always going to be things that there's going to be those obstacles. So how are you able to manage that?
I mean, it really has been like a learning process. Like if someone had said to me like 2 years ago, you're gonna start your own business, you're gonna work all the hours in the day that you are, and you're gonna do it every single night, every weekend for like a year to get it to where you want it to go, I probably would have been like, there's no way. Like, I don't know. Like COVID has changed a lot. It's changed the way we work, how we do things. And obviously I was spending more time at home. And then I realized that actually working in an office 9 to 5 for someone else, only getting to a certain point is not what I want to do. I want to do something for myself. This all took off. It became an opportunity. Don't get me wrong, I've had a few meltdowns this year. Like, I'm not going to lie. It's not easy. And that is what I try and put across a lot. I think people sit there and they see if they just watch me on YouTube, for example, they'll be like, oh, all she does is make a couple of videos and post a few Instagram pictures. And it is so more than that. And like, that's why I try and get across like the time that goes into all the other bits. It doesn't just happen. It's like, there's a lot that goes on. So yeah, sometimes, I have hit breaking point and I've just been like, I can't do this. Like, it's too much. So I really have, it's taken me a while, but I feel like I've been able to manage things a little bit better. And it's more just like taking a seat, like stepping back and being like, do you know what? Take your time. You're going to get there. You've done this so far. Like, the more you relax, the more you sort of plan everything out. Who knows where it could go, type thing.
Right. Absolutely. I think you said it best. We'll kind of to further explain that, a lot of people, a lot of our audiences, they just see the tip of the iceberg as to what goes into as to what they see when we put it out, right? Like, no one sees the planning, no one sees like when we talk about planning, it's like months in advance planning or weeks in advance planning. Like, those plans can change at a flip of a dime. A lot of people don't really see that, and so like we myself and Yizzy, we can actually relate, and I know there's probably a few content creators that are in the chat right now, they can probably relate as well. Like, they know what all of us go through, and so like I think there's a level of solidarity there, because I can relate to you in terms of like having those meltdowns at times. Like, there are times where it's like I put my phone away and I do what I need to as far as my obligations go to social media, but then on top of that, I'm able to put my phone away, take a nap, go out, do whatever I need to get some peace of mind from social media. So I totally get it in that regard.
Yeah, like, obviously at the moment, I've had to put everything into it, like every spare hour in the day, but like, now I'm doing it full time. Like, I've made that commitment to myself. I need to take time for myself because like mentally it's a lot, when I feel like sometimes, especially when I stream, for example, like I'll finish the stream, it'll be late, it'll be like midnight, sometimes 1 a.m. if it goes on. I get into bed and my head is like spinning and I'm like, it's because I haven't switched off yet. I haven't like slowed down. And it was like, that was another factor of like, this is where I just need to either do it all or nothing, because you like physically, like my brain will just explode. So you really have to, that work-life balance is like important, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Michael here said it best. It's like they don't see the stocking the product is a task too. I know, like when I talk to Yizzy, and I'm sure you probably go through the same thing as well before you got your license for distribution as well. Being able to source out product is so difficult, and for a lot of the people that do conduct sales to add on that level of extra income to be able to produce more content, that's a hurdle itself.
Yeah, it is, and I think like that is what people, they like you say, they still see the tip of the iceberg. They don't see what goes on behind. Like, even though I have the distribution, like I only get certain products and certain stock. There are things, especially with vintage, if I'm cracking WotC boxes and all that sort of stuff, that takes time sourcing that and getting it for the right price. I'm not just going to go out and buy the first thing I see and waste all my money. Everything has to be a sensible, calculated ideas. As it's a business now, like I said, this was my hobby, it's now my business. Things are like changing, so the decisions have to change. But even I just saw someone as well put in the chat, like after streams, the packing up of everything, sending it out, it like you see like it takes ages. And because now I have as much international as I do UK, like sales, there's two different processes, and they're both as time. You can't just sit there and do it with your eyes closed. Everything has to be done properly. These are things that people have bought. You've got to get it to them safely when they've spent a lot of money. And I think that's what people again think, oh, she just sticks it in an envelope and sticks it in the post. It doesn't work like that. There's so much that goes on, and that's more what I've tried to get across to people. Like, I put a lot of effort into this. It's not just I do it in my sleep and it's like an easy job type thing.
The packaging's a real thing. Like, I've got probably like 100 orders right here. I still need a pack. But do you find like shortcuts? Like, I find myself like the more I package, I'm like, all right, I gotta figure out how to like make this easier. I think I got a thermal printer after like a month in, and I was like, I need a thermal printer. That's just a must. And then I'll have like certain things where it's like, okay, if I put this right
when you start doing it, you don't really know what you're doing, so you give it a go, and then as like you say, you get a month in, you're like, oh, I need this because that will make that so much quicker. Oh, and then I need this. So my shipping and like packing process has probably changed 4 or 5 times throughout the year as I've started to realize what is quick. But again, until you do it, you don't know, and all of that takes time learning and growing. So it's there's a lot more that goes on that some people realize. I think
it's probably a lot more difficult considering that you're in the UK and you probably had to fulfill orders internationally. So you're probably doing more international based mail, like more international based like sales and mailing, like packaging. Like that's probably another extra hurdle. Like I know I speak to a lot of people internationally, specifically in the UK and Europe particularly, and like I know how difficult it is for them just to be able to acquire stuff for their personal collection, like how expensive that is. So like props to you for being able to do all of that, and then you being in the UK, that's a lot more difficult to be able to like source out vintage product and be able to like ship and mail and sell product internationally, because like that's a nightmare in itself.
Yeah, it is. And again, that's another thing you try to explain to people, like international, whether it's to the US or Australia or anywhere in Europe, or even like I have like customers in Singapore, for example. Like the first time someone orders from somewhere that I've never shipped to before, I have to do my research. I have to make sure that I'm sending it the best way possible. It's going to get there in one piece. And again, that whole thing, it's like it can be a bit like, oh my God, what am I doing? Because you just got to do it and you don't know. But like when, people have bought product from you, you want to make sure that they're getting the best service. So like there's so much that just goes into that. Like that's just one area as well.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because I mean, like, my biggest nightmare would be like me shipping something to the UK or Italy or Ireland or something like along the lines of that, and customs just going to town on that product, and I'm like, man, that would be such a huge nightmare. That's why like sometimes I'll meet with or I'll talk to really really big sellers and high end collectors, and I've talked to them where they've literally had to cancel their sales to someone internationally just because they don't want to have to deal with the process of customs, and so like they'll end up selling it to me, which is crazy. It's such a pain.
Must be nice, Shiv. Must be nice. I know exactly which card he's talking about. That's why.
Oh yeah, my 8.5 War Greymon. Yeah.
Something we're both chasing.
Yeah. So going into it, you just had your interview with PokiNav. Shout out to PokiNav.
Yeah.
His title was women struggling in the Pokemon community, which is what we've used before with Don Diego, I believe. And so shout out to Nav for doing that. I think that was a cool thing for him to do. It's a good homage to what we've been trying to establish in the Pokemon community, and that's being able to bring women onto our platform so that way they get that level of exposure that they deserve. Because women typically have it a little bit more difficult in this space versus men do. Like believe it or not, most men have it relatively easy in this space. Like they don't face that objectification or level of misogyny or sexism in this space versus women do. Like sometimes like women like yourself or Don Diego who have killer kick-ass collections, a lot of men often go to the first thought is like, who's buying this for them? Who's supplying this? Is it their collection or is it just another pretty face behind the collection? And that is definitely difficult, and it's tough to see and it's tough to hear, and I'm sure you've gotten that a lot. So
Mhm.
talk about like some of those struggles that come along with collecting and being able to face that kind of assumptions from men.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the hobby in general is more male dominated. Like,
100%.
there's no two ways about it. So, and again, I sort of spoke about that with Nav. When I first started, like, obviously, I started the Instagram, and like I said, I sort of really, I did search out other females who had, pages and stuff because I thought it would be sort of easier to not get on with people, but just feel a bit more like I didn't know how guys would react to seeing me posting my Pokemon collection. And then obviously as it grew, etc., I kind of then just realized people are going to have their opinions, and do you know what? That's fine. But I, like you say, it's just nicer that we can get a bit more acceptance in a way. I think you're always going to get those people who make the unwanted comments and the whole, like you say, is it just the face in front of the collection who's buying you all of this? Do you have a sugar daddy? All those comments, like you get them left, right, and center, and it is what it is. And I've kind of just sort of, like I said before, I don't know if it's because I've got thick skin or I kind of just switch off to it. Their comment, it's not going to change me, my collection, my what I'm doing, etc. So yeah, I don't know. Again, as a person, I am just generally accepting. Anyone wants to do anything, no matter what hobby you're in. If it was a female dominated hobby, if a guy wanted to get involved, why not? What's the issue? Do you know, like if it's not hurting anyone, there's no issue. But I know that everyone doesn't think like that. So I think really for me, I've kind of just turned a blind eye to it a bit. I kind of don't bite on those sort of comments or make a big deal out of it because I think that would probably draw more negative attention and people be like, oh, she's a drama queen and this, that, and the other. I kind of just shut it down. I don't get involved, and then it's done, and then they eventually stop. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain. That's kind of
for
the
me,
general.
it's the
You hear
exact
that, Shiv?
opposite.
Shiv, do you hear that? You
I was
hear what
just
she
about to
just
say
said?
that. I was just about
I
to say
literally
that.
have a conversation with Shiv about this.
Yeah, no,
I have like a different approach. Like yours is like actually pretty nice approach. I have the same approach but a different mindset. Mine is like when the negativity comes my this sounds bad, but when the negativity comes my way, I know that like usually those people who like want it, they're waiting for a reaction for you, you know?
Yeah.
It like fuels them. And it's more agitating for them that they don't get a response from you and they get angry about it. And like that part of me is like, ooh, like that's why I don't want to do it. So it's like the same results when I get haters, but the opposite like look at it.
Yeah.
So that's what like gets me going.
Yeah.
Because I remember I mean we've had our days when like as kids or what like I feel like they're really immature, but as kids like we were haters, you know? We got jealous or like envy of people, but then like what made me mad the most is when like they didn't give me the attention that I wanted, and I was like, why aren't I'm roasting them or I'm saying this and I'm doing this? Why aren't they like reacting? And I like really so I took that approach of thinking about it and saying like, you know what, I like that's immature. That's like little kid stuff. I'm not gonna do that. But then at the same time, I know that they hate it that I'm ignoring them.
Man, I've been learning. I've been doing a little bit better about it. I will say that I've definitely improved in like the past years, like the past 6 months or so. I want to say about not feeding the trolls. Pat Flynn, shout out to Pat Flynn. Welcome to the live. I take a lot of sage advice, sage wisdom from Alex Hodges and Jordan Fringe and Yizzy, because it's like, hey, like this is what's going on. Because like I talk to Yizzy all the time, I talk to Alex all the time. It's like, hey, how do I go about handling this? It's like this person said this. I know they're talking about me, and it's like, should I do this? And Yizzy's like, no. We literally talked about this like yesterday. And it's like, okay, I was like, okay, I gotta shut it down for myself. In most cases, I do shut it down. Or like there are times where like someone will say something completely outrageous, and it's like I'll just troll them for fun. Like there was a guy in Yizzy's real comments yesterday, and they were talking about wearing like why this girl shouldn't wear a mask at the airport, but like over here in the States, it's federally mandated to wear a mask. And me and Yizzy, we just trolled a person back and forth saying like, what are you talking about? This no one's wearing a mask in this video. So it's a little bit of stuff like that where it's like we're just having our fun and we're just trolling people a little bit. So yeah, I mean that's pretty impressive how you're able to just shut it down. You have that level of thick skin and you don't let that entertain you or consume you.
Yeah.
Like me.
I don't know. I think it's just like I haven't even got any previous experience with it to compare it to, but I think I just made the decision like I just wasn't gonna bite at any of it, or like Yizzy says, give them the attention they want, and then that kind of fuels them, but then it also makes them even more angry when you don't give them attention. So
Yeah.
either way, you can't really win. They're probably still gonna come at you. So
Yeah.
in my head, it's like no matter what I do, they
Mm.
don't either like me, don't like what I'm doing. They've got something, whether because I'm a woman or just in general. Whatever it is. So I just decide, you know what, I'm never going to please them. So whatever I do is going to have, whatever effect, might as well just ignore it type thing. But yeah, that's kind of what I've done the whole time. And I've never, blown anything out of proportion when someone, because I get all sorts of strange, I mean, you can probably imagine the DM type things. And
Yeah,
I just,
no.
I mean, they're not even like, they're not entertained. And then that's it, you move on type thing.
Yeah, like I'll get like screenshots from like Don Diego, like right before I went up to New York City for her trade night. There was this dude just sending her weird messages, and I got a screenshot of, like, she sent me a screenshot of the message, and I'm like, man, people are still this creepy. Like, how are dudes this bold to just send this type of stuff to women? And it's like I just don't understand. And it's like I can understand why some women like it's like that kind of stuff does get to some women. I know sometimes it doesn't, but like not everyone is perfect, and I know it does.
No.
It does get to some women in some way. So like,
Yeah.
what type of advice would you give to women in that case scenario? Like how like I'm not a woman, so like you as a woman, what kind of advice would you give to women specifically when it comes to the misogyny in the DMs or in the comment section, or the disgusting messages that you might get, or the level of sexism that you might experience? Like what are the types of what's the type of advice that you can give to women out there, for women who are still lurking and want to be able to come into this space, or women in the future who do see this video?
Yeah. Again, it kind of just goes back to, I'm very much of the mindset, that person, I don't know them. I don't know them personally. I'm probably never going to meet them or see them in real life. Whatever they do, if I let them affect me, my decisions, my life, my feelings, like it's pointless. I'm only making things harder for myself. And I think you just have to, again, I don't know where it's just over time, I've got more confident in just being like, do you know what? I'm not even going to entertain the person. You don't even get a response. You don't, like nothing. It's more just, you can't let people that you don't know affect you, because at the end of the day, they're not the ones that care about you. Do you know what I mean? No matter what you do or how you go back to them, they've probably got an issue with you, whether it is because you're a woman and they don't like it, or they're intimidated or whatever. So I'm very much of, if it was my mum that was like, beefing me in my comments and being like, outrageous or whatever, a family member, I'd be like, why you do, like, do you know what, you mean something to me? Like, I would care about their opinion. But if I don't know the person, like without sounding too rude, like I just can't let it get to me, because I feel like you're gonna hold yourself back. You're never gonna take that next step if you're constantly over analyzing what everyone says about you, everyone's opinions. And yeah, you just kind of have to, I think, build the confidence to get to that point where you just be like, do you know what, I don't care anymore. I'm going to get those bad comments, and I just have to realize that it comes with being a content creator, putting yourself on the internet. And if you can't deal with that sort of thing, then maybe it's not the right path for you. But if you can learn to adjust and, adapt to it, then, and overcome it, then keep going.
Yeah, that's sort of a mantra that that's a good way to put it, because I'll take that and make it to a daily mantra of mine. It's just like, hey, don't let it get to you.
I'm gonna clip that section up right now, Shiv. And every time he says something, I'm gonna like send you the clip.
As soon as something pops up, he's like, Shiv, here, hold on. What are you talking about? I was like, oh, then it just sends me the video. I'm like, okay, yes, I get it. You don't have to send me this like the 50th time. No, but I do appreciate that. Thank you for that. Like that in itself, like even though that was a question for most women out there, I think that's advice for everyone in general. So I appreciate that. I'm learning a lot right now. Yeah.
It works both ways, just in general, like with those sorts of comments.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. That's pretty sweet that you have that kind of mentality. I mean, it just shows you that's another reason why you've grown tremendously in the past year now as a content creator. That just goes to show you that you have that mentality, and it shows as to why you've had this level of experience, whether it's, I mean, well, not experience, but also success as well, as far as YouTube goes, as far as Instagram goes. And I mean, I think it's safe to say that you're probably one of the I'd say top 3. Like, I'm not gonna rank women out there, but I'd say like I'd put you alongside with like Super Duper Danny and Don Diego and Bonnie when it comes to women that are strong and the forefronts of this space. I think that's pretty cool. Moving on to our next topic, I wanted to kind of touch on this. This is something that you and Nav kind of touched on your interview, and it was about Pokemon content and hype and investing. A lot of your collection is personal, and then you have a business itself. So like, how are you able to keep your business side and your personal collection side separate? Like, what's preventing you from like going to town on like your own personal collection or selling your personal cards? And then when it comes to like the business side, like what's that thought process like? What's the execution when it comes to that? Because like, I know myself, I sometimes I will have like certain cards in my personal collection, and then when I see something that has a hierarchy, like that has more precedent in terms of rarity or something that I really, really want, I kind of have to like look at something and make that tough decision. So like, what's your thought process? Like, how are you executing these big deals? Because I know you just acquired that Black Label Fossil Mew from the Pokemon Network, which is also our sponsor. But like, walk us through that.
So like you said, I spoke about it with Nav. So obviously the business, so I have the business side of things where I do my live streams and I have, all the modern type of product, everything that I rip open, nothing sort of stays sealed in that aspect. And then I have my personal collection, but then I also have slabs and raw cards also with the business side of things that I've bought and sold through the business. I've bought cards to grade, etc. I basically, like you say, make those tough decisions. I look at my collection and I will say there are things that there's no compromise on. There are things I will not sell ever. Like, I have them in my collection for a reason, whether it's something I've had for years or it's something I picked up, graded myself, it got an amazing grade, and the card either means something to me, it's my favorite card, whatever the reason is. There'll be things that people have asked me, so how much is this, and I'm not going to sell it. There's no way around it. There are other things that I will get into my collection that I think, do you know what, if further down the line X, Y, and Z comes up, this might be one of those things that I'll be willing to sacrifice. And it's just about working out what works for me. I feel like a lot of people maybe look at what everyone else is doing. They look at the hype, whatever's, spiking at the current moment, and they want to kind of do what everyone's doing and kind of keep up with everything. And I always say to people, like, your collection is what makes you happy. If you're going to do it because everyone else is doing it, your collection isn't going to be yours at the end of the day. It's going to reflect, whatever's going on in the market. And at the end of the day, are you even going to enjoy it? Because that changes, we know, weekly sometimes. So yeah, there'll be items that I just say to myself, do you know what, I'm keeping these. There's no flexibility on these. There's no offer would make me sell it. And there's things that even though I might really love them, I'll be like, do you know what, I'll probably get that further down the line again. So it's just about kind of taking a step back, looking at everything as a whole, and then working out what works for me, basically, rather than what would work for anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. It's best to not really focus on the hype. It's best to just focus on what you genuinely love, because at the end of the day, if you buy something and you buy it based on hype, and that hype goes away because hype isn't sustainable, then you're just gonna be stuck with something that you just don't genuinely like. And that kind of leads us into our actual topic for this evening, or another topic for this evening. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that are essentially posting videos on top 5 card investments or top 5 best sets to invest in. And I personally believe that's kind of dangerous to this hobby, because you have people who say they're not giving investment advice, but they're doubling down into the subject matter of whatever cards that are cool to invest in. But it's not really but they're not essentially talking about pop reports or talking about why this is a great truly a great investment. They're just focusing on the hype. And at the end of the day, they're not really talking about being able to buy into something that they're comfortable with being like they're comfortable with worth being like sorry train my brain is going 1,000 miles per hour, comfortable with that the value of that product being worth zero. So like that's something that I've been seeing a lot of videos like a lot of those types of videos that have been popping off. And I know Yizzy was even contemplating making that type of video, but I told him like, hey, like this is
No, I wanted to make that video because Shiv was going to talk about it, and I'm like, how funny would it be? Let me make a video before you do that.
I gotcha. No, I mean, like, what are your thoughts on those types of videos, and how come you haven't made those types of videos?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like you say, that it's the whole advising people thing. At the end of the day, I mean, I've made videos in the past where I've done what I'm investing in the crashing Pokemon market, what I'm investing in,
Yeah.
etc. And I've always said in those videos, I'm investing in them because they're pieces that I want. Sometimes they might be hype pieces. There's nothing wrong with getting in on the hype, but don't base your whole collection and your whole, you know, everything around it. Because like you said, hype isn't sustainable. And then I think people will get that disappointing feeling when they're like, oh my God, everything I own is now maybe not as exciting as it was, or people don't care about it. And that's what they kind of wanted. So the videos I've done are more, these are the items that I'm investing in. These are why I'm investing in them. And I kind of always try and put across, I'm not telling you to go out there and invest in them, but these are my reasons. And if you like my reasons and you want to get those products for that reason, go for it. But I think it can just be a bit of a grey area, a bit of a slippery slope, being like, you know, this is what you have to go out and invest in. Because I feel like there's some people who will just maybe take it very literally and rush into the decision when maybe it's not always the best decision, whether it's financially for them or, you know, other reasons. But again, if that's kind of, like you say, there are channels out there that do that all the time, and that's fine, but that's just not an area I've ever thought of going into. And any investment videos I do, it's about what I'm investing in and why I'm doing it, not why you should necessarily go out and do it.
Like I love it when I see content creators do like mail days, because it's their way of saying like, hey, I'm investing into this. This is why I got this product. You know, like I base a lot of my quote unquote investment decisions just based on whether something looks really cool or not. You know, like if I see something that's like, oh man, that is really cool, I want that. I am so comfortable with keeping something even if it's worth only $40 or $50. There's a lot of things in my personal collection right here that is relatively difficult to acquire, but I bought it for like $25 a pop just because of the fact that it just speaks to me as a collector. And it might not speak to someone else, but it speaks to me. And the reason why I personally wanted to bring up this topic is because there's a lot of people that are still relatively new to the hobby. There's a lot of people that are still in this space that might not have the most information. And you said it yourself, when you were first lurking and in the hobby, you were watching, you know, other YouTubers, but you don't see the grand scheme of things until you get into the Instagram space and you start talking to other collectors. And it was the same for myself. You know, when I first came into this space, I was only watching, you know, Ando, Danny, Nate, and Leonhardt, but I didn't know all about collecting. I didn't know what a pop report was until I actually dove in and I did my research. So a lot of people are making a lot of monetary decisions, physical decisions, based off of what a YouTuber is saying, and it's very dangerous. I know Yizzy and we were just talking about it yesterday. He was watching someone who did a top 5 investment video, and Yizzy watched it because he was very curious to see what they were going to say. And often at times, I'm like, Yizzy, the only reason why you didn't, you know, you weren't influenced by that video is because you have an understanding of what these prices are. And imagine if you were just new, right? Like, let's say you were coming into this space and it's like you're trying to do as much research as possible, but you're only watching YouTube videos. So then you watch this guy who's showing a top 5 investment video, and then you buy into something, and then you're just stuck with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like you say, it's those new people who might take things really literally and only watch one person, and they're taking all that one person's advice. And it's just a bit, I think it's just an area to be careful on. I think, you know, saying this is what you should be going out and putting your money into. If it works for you, fine. But if it's going to bankrupt you or like financially cripple you, don't do it, because it's not going to benefit you in any way, shape or form.
Absolutely. So I know that you're in the UK. Worlds is gonna be next year. Are you pretty pumped about that? Because like I know
Yeah.
there's so many different conventions going on here in the States. Like, what is that
Yeah.
like as someone from the UK? Like, what is that like seeing? Like, what is your POV? Like, are you jealous? Do you plan on coming to the States? Because like I know you have a fan base here. Like, do you plan on coming to the States and coming to these different conventions at some point, or are you just waiting to see how Worlds turns out to be?
So yeah, jealousy is probably the top feeling. We're obviously, you guys are a much bigger country than us. There's always more going on, whether it's this hobby or whatever hobby you're in. You guys do it bigger and better. We're small here. There are card shows, but I haven't really been to any here. With COVID over the last couple of years, it took a long time for things to start back up here. There's been a few things this year. I haven't managed to get to any of them. Obviously, Worlds will be incredible if it, fingers crossed, actually goes ahead, you know, with everything going on in the world. Hopefully we keep moving in the right direction. I'm actually coming to the States in January because I've got a couple of big deals that I'm doing. I'm selling a couple of things, buying some things, and again with the whole postage issue, too much to do in the post type thing. So yeah, I'm doing some things in person, filming some content with people, and also seeing some family and just taking a couple of days as like a holiday vacation as well. Because I haven't actually traveled since pre-COVID, since like Jan 2020. But yeah, I mean, if everything with travel stays the same, I'll go to the States probably 2 or 3 times next year. Normally, I go to America on holiday like twice a year pre-COVID, and it's just weird not having been able to get back. So yeah, hopefully next year as things get easier, I'll be able to travel more, and I'll definitely be coming for card shows, etc.
That's pretty cool. That's what's up.
Would you be open to like traveling across the sea
What?
to the US for card shows?
Yeah,
Or
I mean, yeah, that's like I would pre-COVID, I would travel a lot. I
ah.
normally like go abroad like 2, 3, 4 times a year, and then
Oh,
not having been anywhere for like 2 years, it kind of feels weird. So yeah, I haven't actually been to the States since 2019 was the last time I was there. Obviously, thought I'd be going the year after, and then that never happened. But yeah, so I'm coming in January for 2 weeks, and it's kind of a pretty packed trip. I'm going to like 3 or 4 different places, seeing lots of different people, but also taking some time to stop as well and have like 3 or 4 days off.
Well, yeah, definitely let us know. I know myself and Yizzy, we're officially on tour with Collecticon next year. So if you
Cool.
do want to come
Yeah,
to one of those, then we can help you with that as far as certain
incredible.
accommodations go. So that's
Yeah.
we'll set that up.
special guest, PokiChloe. Okay.
Yeah, we'll have Matt be like, hey, we got someone in the UK that has a huge fan base. I think we need her. I think we need her. But that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool to have like a convention where you're there, where it's like these conventions are basically content central. It's really great. I kind of want to start closing this out. We're at that 43 mark, so we can kind of talk about more stuff here where it's a little bit more banter related. So we only have about a little over a month left for 2021. What is a goal that you feel like you've acquired as far as collecting goes, and then as far as your content creating career goes? And then I want to have Yizzy answer the same.
Because they were saying when I told her over to sea, they said, Yizzy, she takes a plane, not a boat. And he said, Yizzy forgot where the UK is.
He did. I was like, bro, what is this dude talking about? She just said that she's gonna come over here.
Oh my God. So yeah, I'd say a goal. I mean, well, a goal that I didn't really know that I would have would be, you know, my own business basically. Like I said, it turned from a hobby to a business. So that is something I'm proud that I've done. I honestly never thought I would be able to do something like this. I'm just reading Alex's comment in the chat.
I'm sorry, I'm like multitasking, so I 100%. I thought you meant like because he was talking about the UK and like world, and I heard you say there's a couple of things, and I zoned out for a second to read the chat, and when I came back in, I was like, oh, what if she came to like Collecticon? That'd be cool.
Yizzy
So I
completely
was wondering, and so when I asked the
out.
question, apparently you already addressed that, and I was like, oh gosh, they must have addressed it.
Funny.
And now people think I'm thinking like, how is she gonna get over through a boat?
Pat Flynn, the team that we work with Collecticon, they would pretty much pay for her hotel like they've been paying mine and Yizzy's hotel. As far as flying goes, maybe. I mean, that's very plausible due to how big they've been growing. So possibly, I mean, I'm surprised. You know, she hasn't gotten sponsorships yet, but she will be getting sponsorships. I know for a fact because we'll say it right now. If you're interested in sponsoring PokiChloe, definitely hit her up in the DMs. In the DMs.
Yeah, just leave us. We don't need any.
yeah. Let's say Ken Lee. I mean, you already did big deals with PokiChloe. Might as well sponsor PokiChloe.
Yeah.
I'll tell him to. He'll pay it. But yeah, I mean, like, what's a collecting goal that you feel like you've accomplished this year?
I don't really know. Honestly, my collecting goals, they change a lot for my personal collection anyway, you know, as things change and things grow. I mean, one thing that I was really happy I got, even though I let it go, was the Legendary Collection box. To have that, like, in my possession for an amount of time, it's my favorite. I speak about it a lot. It's my favorite set. Obviously didn't open it, kind of wasn't sure if I was going to. Like I said, opportunities came up, things changed. I've managed to acquire something pretty incredible in the trade anyway. But yeah, that was probably something that I was really happy that I was able to get into my collection for an amount of time. And I've said to myself, I will get a Legendary Collection box back again in the future. Don't know when, but it will happen. But yeah, that was quite a big, I think it might happen.
I've got a question that I usually ask every week. It's a very generic question, but you think about it. Like, what, and I can ask you, I never asked you, like, what is your biggest challenge in collecting, in this collecting space?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
we are
that's pretty
lagging
deep.
right
Someone
now.
asked me that the other day, and I was like, oh, that's really good.
It's a real generic question, but the answer is like,
we're lagging really hard right now.
What is your biggest challenge that you faced this year in collecting? The base set break, Chloe. What? Oh, wait, we're lagging?
Yes.
Oh man, Shiv.
It says we have YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming as for viewers will experience buffering.
On
OBS we're fine right now.
Over to the
on OBS,
McDonald's Wi-Fi, man.
We're doing fine. Yizzy, you had to break the internet. Good job. Your store, like as soon as you open
the lag is real.
Make sure you comment in the section, Yizzy, saying like we're experiencing lag.
Robo tea time.
Okay, we should be good. Okay, Miami Cartoons.
We're experiencing.
We should be good now. I think we're good. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Oh, okay. I won't do a say. All right. You had time to think. Here we go.
Yeah, no, that question, Yizzy, that's a really hard one. There's no like short answer to it because again, it could like there's several answers depending what it relates to.
Okay, let's take away the collecting for you. Let's take away like the social media aspect of it.
Okay.
Because we did address some of those, like the packaging, like that's pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie.
I think one thing would be again, like Shiv mentioned about, you know, being in the UK and, you know, it's a little bit harder to get things, like actually acquiring what you want for a good price and getting it to you if the item's not in the UK. You know, with import fees, etc., on bigger items, it's not easy to get these items sometimes. So I think that for me, that would be one of my bigger challenges. Is actually getting some things in my and just having it available. You know, other people in the UK having these sort of things available. There are certain things that just don't come up very often. Yeah, so I think that would probably be like if I could think of a challenge off the top of my head, I would say that.
That like primes me for another question I wanted to ask you earlier, but like Shiv was doing his thing, so it's fine. But the UK is kind of it's like not compared to like the United States. Do y'all have like a really tight knit like UK community when it comes to like content creating or Pokemon or like because it's not that big, right? I mean it is, but it's not.
So that's interesting you say that. So I feel like the UK community has grown quite a lot. You know, there is a lot of us over here who collect. With regards to content creating, I have a good friend, Dean. He's actually in the chat, PokiDean. Me and him have done quite a few videos together. We're doing a couple of box breaks towards the end of the year. Me and him collab a lot. Like we've become really good friends. We met through the hobby. I feel like in the UK, I feel like you guys, like you all get together, you all do things together, you create content, whether it be like this on a podcast, you meet up. I feel like in the UK, we haven't quite nailed that, everyone getting together and, you know, content creators, you know, collabing as much. Maybe it's because there aren't as many, we're smaller, we just don't have the options. But yeah, I feel like it doesn't happen as much as it maybe could over here. And again, I don't know whether with the whole COVID thing, I mean, we were locked down for ages, so it was really hard to do, you know, nothing. You couldn't do anything in person except. But yeah, even just doing more stuff like this, it'd be nice if, we could just get more people involved. But there isn't as many bigger content creators in the UK as there is in the States, for example.
Yeah, I mean, if you're ever wanting to come on the podcast, you're more than welcome to come onto the podcast. I mean, myself and Yizzy, we like collaborating with content creators all the time, and I mean, we that's like something that we definitely enjoy. And I mean, it might be costly for us, it might take a toll on our wallet, but you know, we're willing to travel. Like I know Yizzy's been traveling a lot more than I have this year. Than I have. I mean,
I'm so sick of traveling, dude. I'm done traveling this year.
Are you gonna go to Tampa?
Oh gosh, you're right. I don't know.
He doesn't know yet. I mean,
I don't know.
he said
I've just, like,
it's still up in the air for Yizzy, but I know, like, I myself in a couple of weeks, so I'm about to go to Collectors Con in Tampa again, which is pretty fun. You know, it'll
do
be
they
cool.
have like the cruise thing again, like trade night on the cruise? I'm sorry, Clay.
They have a trade night at a different spot. That cruise was bad.
Oh my gosh, that cruise was. But like, let's fill her in on the cruise situation.
So we went to Collectors Con in, I want to say, at the Labor Day weekend, so beginning of September of this year, and they had us essentially pay for this cruise for like a trade night, and it was and you know, they hyped it up. It looked like it was gonna be like a party cruise or something like that, or like a yacht or something. No, it was like this typical boat where people have like they schedule their corporate lunches on. And
no.
And
it was like a restaurant boat. It was a restaurant boat. Like, it's kind of one of those things where you see on the outside it's like painted really nice, and then when you walk in, you're like, wait, that window was fake.
No, I mean, it was like the food was like stuff that I would get at like a cafeteria lunch.
It definitely wasn't like
the dessert was good. I will say that
the tickets were like $200. So, and then when we walked in, we were like, wait a minute.
And like they were talking about like top shelf like alcohol, and I'm like, I go upstairs, and Gem Pokemon, he gets me like this whiskey, and I drink like half of it, and then I spit back some of it out, and I'm like, bro, this is gross. Like, I don't want to do this again. And I mean, that's the same night. Yizzy had a really horrific night, and then Yizzy also broke my plant that night. So it's like all this traveling is great.
Oh, I found your wallet. What are you talking about? Shiv was like, Yizzy, I don't know where my wallet is, but it's fine. I'm like, Shiv, we got you. You can't get back on a plane back to Virginia.
You found my ID.
He's like, nah,
you found my
it's
ID.
okay.
You found my ID. Big difference.
That's when you need to get on the plane. So he was like, it's okay, Yizzy. Like, I'm just having fun right now. And I'm like, dude, you need this. So like, I literally spent like 20 minutes looking for it. I'm like, Shiv, come on, let's go look for it. You're gonna need this.
I know you're a little literally took like 5 seconds and you found it
right now. You know what I'm saying?
You, and
it's so like
5 seconds I
ended up spending 20 minutes.
This guy exaggerates stories, and it's so bad. And we're lagging again. Thank God.
Who found it? Who found your wallet, Shiv?
We're lagging again. Thank God.
Who found your wallet? What? Instant boot. God, dude, Alex with the lines, man.
Okay, we're good. We were lagging for a second.
All right, like, who found your wallet? Say his name.
You did. You didn't find my wallet. You found my ID.
No one is around you. Say, baby. Okay.
Dude, we're gonna get copywritten too.
All right. I don't get any love.
What could you want? No, but I mean, Chloe, we have to have you out here in the United States ASAP. We definitely will see you at Worlds. I know that's something that's coming up in London. I'm sure you're definitely gonna be there. We'll definitely film some content. And we're lagging again.
Dang. I'll tell the chat. I mean the chat.
You said chat. So like over there, like are you still able to go to like local card shops? Are those things I mean, it's a dumb question, but are you able to go to like local card shops in the UK?
So yeah, I mean, like card shops in the UK, again, there's not as many of them as there is like out where you guys are, like not from what I've seen anyway. But yeah, things like I think it was like the summer here, like June time, we started to like finally come out of a really strict lockdown. So everyone did start going out, doing a little bit more. But yeah, it took a while. I mean, like last year was a write-off. We couldn't go anywhere, do anything. So it's yeah, it kind of doesn't compare to like where you guys, I feel like you have card shops left, right, and center. We just don't really have as much or the quantity here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I'd like to go like exploring in different spots in the UK, so I'm sure all of us can definitely hang out there.
Yeah, definitely.
What's what was I gonna say? Izzy, do you have anything to ask?
Do I have anything else?
Yes.
I think that was like the main. What are we on time? Because we
We
don't. I mean,
are
she's
at
probably dying
56
at this
minutes.
point. It's like what, like 2 a.m. there?
It's about to be one.
It's
It's yeah, 2
coming
a.m.
up to 1 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's something that
Oh,
you're
you forgot to plug in the sponsors,
We
dude.
will, we will, we will. I mean, I plugged in Ken
Oh,
Lee for a
and the
second.
Nami stuff.
Yeah, we will. Actually, let's go ahead and do Nami for right now. So for those guys who don't know, Nami is a charity. It's a organization. It stands for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Myself and Yizzy have been tasked to be able to raise as much money as possible. Our goal is $5,000, but we've been tasked to be able to make as much money as possible for this organization. Myself and Yizzy, we're about to put out an IG post. It's of this right here. And as you can see right here, we have the NAMI National Alliance on Mental Illness. You have our logos there. You have Leonhardt involved. We'll be talking about more details. We have the charity event. We have an official charity event that ends on the 28th, but that's when we basically do this sort of raffle thing. Yizzy, do you want to kind of talk about more about that?
Yeah, so basically, we have goals that we're gonna hit. Leonhardt has sent us the base set 2-pack that we will be opening live on December 28th. And then if we hit each one of those goals, so like 1,000 and then 2,000, we'll be adding in slabs. So base set Charizard, I think we have I think it's a 6. The Blastoise is like a 7 or 8, whatever it may be. They're slabbed up base set cards. We have base set packs. We have fossil packs. We have basic booster boxes. I think it's around 3 to 4,000 worth of stuff, and then I'll be throwing in some of my sentimental like attachments that I have because it's going to a good organizations. But we'll have the link on our profiles.
The link is actually in the chat right now. It's pinned.
It's pinned as well. All you have to do is donate $15 and you get entered into the giveaway. I think we're at 800, 900 at this point.
We are at 875. We're about to hit 1,000.
875. So once we hit the first goal, we'll be announcing. Me and Shiv will be constantly posting on our story and just kind of filling you in what is about, what is Nami about, and what this charity event will take place and how it will be. But yes, that's kind of only $15 will get you one entry into it, and we'll post it tonight of more details and links on our story. Think.
And just to quickly get through our sponsors, TCG Stadium is a online card shop based in Nashville. They're in their process of establishing their brick and mortar in Nashville. Jimmy Sun, great dude. Their website houses a lot of Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh product, and they're relatively affordable. I think you guys should definitely go check it out if you haven't. And definitely follow them on Instagram. Then you have Ken Lee, the Pokemon Network, the guy with the Charizard costume, the guy who does big deals. He's your one-stop shop of buying Pokemon product. If you're trying to find cards, slabs, boxes, he has it at the most affordable. Like, he has the most affordable slabs, and then he has the most expensive slabs, or the most expensive product. Yeah, definitely go check him out. Make sure you go follow him on Instagram. He is so close to hitting 10,000 followers on Instagram. And back to our podcast. So, Chloe, 2022 is about to come up. What is something that you would like to accomplish next year?
Oh my goodness. Good question.
What a bang.
Grow the YouTube, hope that it keeps going, at the rate it has been, be able to just offer like a bit of everything. I try to be really varied. I open a lot of modern, I also open vintage. I want everyone to be able to be involved. I want to continue to do that. I don't want anyone to ever feel like they can't get involved in what's going on, etc. I try and make it, as easy for everyone, etc. And the plan, I doubt it'll be 2022, further down the line, the overall goal is to have an actual brick and mortar store to go with my TCG store at some point. Where that will be, when that will happen, I don't know, but that's like the long-term goal. But yeah, next year it would just be, keep the business going as it is, have more variation on the store. And just hope that it kind of keeps going the way it has been.
What's a Grail card that you want to have in your collection? Like, what's a Grail card, or what's a card that you would like to acquire, or a product that you would like to acquire in 2022?
There isn't a card as such, but I'd love a Skyridge box. That would be my next like Grail box to add to my collection at some point.
That's pretty cool. Like, you're choosing. Are you more of a seal collector than an actual card collector, or are you a bit of a both, or is there a specific?
Both. I'm definitely a bit of both, but again, my taste changes as I go. I change my mind on a lot of things, but Skyridge has always been. I love Skyridge. I have the master set. I graded a lot of Skyridge cards, etc. But yeah, the box would be like, and it would be a sealed collection item. But yeah, that would be like a long-term goal for me.
That's a beautiful box.
Yeah.
Yizzy, what's something that you would like to accomplish in 2022?
Me?
Yeah.
2022. I haven't thought that far ahead. If you want to be honest,
it begins like in a month. Like, you're about to have like New Year's resolutions, man.
I don't know. Oh. Well, by the end of the year, I want to finish my shop. I want to not my shop, but like my online store. Get that going with distribution. And then yeah, I want to hopefully have a sustainable. I want to be like Chloe. That's my 2022
Be
like
Chloe.
goal.
Hashtag be like Chloe.
That's what it is.
That's a good hashtag.
Everything she just said, just copy and paste.
Yeah, just,
but then
just
like
literally copy everything that she does.
And then backspace on the Chloe, like Yizzy.
Okay.
Yeah, just change that slightly.
Yeah.
No,
but guys, go ahead. I just did in the description because I forgot to do it. Refresh and then hit the description. And everybody that hasn't followed, y'all probably all follow her. Let's be honest. Yeah. But if you don't, you should follow her. You should check out her stuff because it's pretty cool. I've been watching her stuff leading up to this for sure, and I'm a big fan. PokiChloe for sure, 100%. Shiv, what about you?
I am a big fan of Chloe.
I'm a big fan.
No, what's a Grail card that you want to acquire in 2022?
Me?
Yes.
The questions with Yizzy. I want a. Let me look in the back. I don't know, Shiv. I just don't. You answer the question, Shiv. You answer. What's your Grail card of 2022?
I think I've been like pretty good like ever since I came into the community in 2019, where like I outline like what are my goals and things that I would like to accomplish in that particular year, like realistic goals, and I put it out on social media just to keep myself accountable. I think I accomplished 50% of my goals as far as like things that I wanted to acquire in 2021. My 2022 goals is to be able to acquire either a PSA or BGS 9 first appearance Lugia. I like to have a Omnimon trophy card, either a DDS Blue Eyes White Dragon for a graded a 9, or a first edition LOB Blue Eyes White Dragon graded as a 9 at Beckett. So like and then I'd say like my 3 to 4 year goal is to have a Pokemon Snap contest trophy card. That's my Grail as far as cards go. As far as like my content goes, I like to be able to have a fully functioning and fully established consignment page, so to speak. I like to be able to help people finish their collections and have them finish their goals. That's really it.
Man, you had everything to a T, man. Like you're over here answering, you're dotting the I's, crossing the T's, dotting I'm over here like, I don't know, I want to shout. Okay, I've actually been thinking about this and I totally forgot. Like it was a small girl. I started talking to people and I actually talked to you about it, Shiv. But as far as collecting, I want to own. I looked at Pat Flynn if he's still in here. He wants a graded like vintage pack of every set. You have people like Jim Man that wants every like PSA 10 registry of the WotC era. And for me, since I came in during like the modern-ish era, like I was collecting in the past, but then like came back fairly recent. Not recent, it was like 2019. But I want every Elite Trainer box that was ever printed.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've been looking at prices and like the Plasma Storm, like hands down, is absolutely the hardest like ETB to like even get. Like I haven't tried really hard, but they're really hard. It's not like they're listed.
Yeah, I used to have 2 booster boxes of that. I kind of regret selling it, but at the same time, I'm pretty happy that I sold 2 Plasma Storm booster boxes back in 2020. That's my
goal. I'm about like 70% there, so I've been slowly buying, but they're pretty expensive. So
yeah.
But there you go.
I'd say as like far as content goes, I'd like to be able to grow this podcast even more to the point where, more and more we have more guests that want to be on our page. I think like one of the coolest comments we've ever received is, "Hey, I love the podcast. I hope that one day, based upon how hard I work right now, I get to be a guest on the podcast." I think that's one of the coolest comments we've ever received. And it's like, hey, people want to be part of the podcast now. But I'm so glad PokiChloe came into the podcast. She is the GOAT of the UK. It's so cool having someone from overseas being on taking time out of their day, out of their busy schedule to be on our podcast. Is there anything that you would like to say? Is there any projects that you're particularly working on that you would like our audience, because like I know there's a lot of people here that know you and that are huge fans of you. What's something that our audience, people that don't necessarily know who you are, what's something that you're particularly working on?
At the moment, me and PokiDean have got a project that we're working on. We haven't released too much information, but that's sort of coming in the next couple of weeks. We kind of want to get things a bit more solidified before we put any information out. So that's just something to keep an eye on. Obviously, we'll put it on our pages. And for
don't worry about that. This is on schedule.
Happen all the time.
It literally happens every podcast. It happens every podcast.
Something's wrong with my Discord. All right.
It's on brand.
Yeah, and for me, it's just I do a big box break every month where I try to. So I've just got a couple of big breaks coming up towards the end of the year. We've got first edition Team Rocket this Sunday, and then a Supreme Victors box for like the Christmas break. So yeah, looking forward to that.
That is sick. So guys, those of you guys that are in here, make sure you are subscribed to PokiChloe on YouTube. Make sure you're following her on Instagram for more PokiChloe news. She has a really, really big break for this Sunday, a first edition Team Rocket booster box. And hopefully one of you guys that do participate in her breaks is able to pull that first edition Dark Charizard and first edition non-holo Dark Dragonite, because that's the only way you can possibly pull it. Hopefully you have one of those types of boxes where you're able to pull that particular air.
All right. Well.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yizzy, you have anything else to say?
RIP to my Discord.
RIP to Yizzy's Discord. Make sure you follow PokiChloe. Make sure you're donating to the Nami link. And that's pretty much it. I don't know if you know how we close out PokiChloe, but the way we sign off, it's pretty signature. We have all of our guests do it. It's our sips up like a teacup. Then we say deuces, and then we say we're out. We salute, we're out. So we can work on it.
Do that again.
We're gonna slowly do it together. So we're gonna.
There's one thing I want, like a section I wanted to do. Do we have time? Do you have time?
Yes.
Yeah. Go for
So
it.
I went to the UK, like not recently, but this was like for my friend's wedding, and this was like in 2018, I think I was there. And I looked at magazines. Like, do people give middle fingers? Like, it's like a what's up? That's what I was told. I don't know if that's true or not.
So no, I think that's the funniest question I've ever been asked. In the UK, people are quite, well, especially London, for example, that is near where I live, the capital. People are just quite miserable and rude. Like, so, I mean, it's not surprising for someone to just give you a middle finger walking down the street. Like, if you walk into them or whatever, people are just quite blunt and unapproachable in the UK. Another reason probably why I have thick skin is because of where I live. We just get on with it. But yeah, that's not something you would probably like approach someone and like, that you might get a dodgy reaction to that.
Okay, because like one there was it's normal. Like we just flick each other off. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well,
yeah, people in the UK are normally quite rude and grumpy, so it doesn't surprise me at all.
Oh, okay. Sorry. That I've been wanting to ask that, but like I have like really bad ADD. But okay, I'm glad we got that settled.
That was his most important question that he wanted to ask.
It was.
It wasn't anything else. It was just that. That was the.
It was so important. I had to interrupt the ending just to,
Guys, Yizzy is a diva. Like, he still thinks that a diva is an opera singer, but Yizzy, like, based off of this, he is 100% a diva.
Wait till next week, Chef. Just wait till next week. You're lucky Chloe's on here, man. You're lucky, man. Chloe's on here, and I want to make a good first impression to our new friend Chloe and her mods and viewers. Just wait. All right.
He got nothing. Guys, we're going to go ahead and sign out. Just to slowly go through this, Yizzy, you sure you got everything asked?
Yep, that was it.
Okay, cool. We're gonna go
Recovered.
ahead and sips up.
This-
Deuces. And we salute out. So on 3, sips
Okay.
up. Deuces. And we're out. See you later, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next
Bye.
Bye.
one. Bye.
Stay in the chat. Because I'm a keyboard warrior. Hey, bye.
Bye.
Adios to my Hispanic people and Zaichun to my Asian people. I probably did that wrong.
No, we're still live.